Once you visit a bar or a Connaught bar, you become part of it and you give contribution. I love to say that a bar is made by people. It's not only us working, but also the people they visit. In the next 10-15 minutes, we'll go through a little bit of what is my thinking process based on my experience, and on the fact that I want to share my ideas. And then hopefully we'll be giving you some hint of to take away or to don't take away, and then we carry on with the day. So thank you, Sid, for allowing me to break into the tasting, to lose a little bit the intensity of the day. And let's start it. But you know me, Agostino Perrone from the Connaught. For me, yeah, mixology is as much as important as hospitality, which is making the people feel at ease, relaxed, and comfortable. Once you feel comfortable in a bar, surely your senses, they are more enhanced, and you want to explore more. That's why whatever we do at the Connaught bar is a good combination of the technical aspect, the creativity, the research, but also the way how we propose it, how we expose it to the visitor of the bar. For this reason. So we like to say that we like to mix the technicality with theatrical aspect. And this one reflects into the martini that most of you, I think, you tried. Who has never been in a Connaught bar? Oh, finally, a good room. A good room. My journey. I didn't put any dates because I don't want to show not how old I am, but because when I started working bars in Lake Como, it was school time. So of course I started to go in bars in the morning instead of going to school. And then I wanted to work in the bar where I was going, because I was excited not only by the cocktail aspect and drinking aspect of it, as I was on the other side of the bar, so I was enjoying it very much, and tried to find justification when I was going home why I wasn't straight as 7 o'clock in the morning when I went out, but that's a different story. You start to make up your own excuses. It's very good then to avoid your manager's direction. But I wanted to work in bars. I felt in love with the bar atmosphere because I like to stay with the people that were coming to see us. Lake Como is a small town, very much medieval, so you feel a little bit of the history. It's very classic. And back at the time, it was well frequented as well by tourists, but also the local people that were good entrepreneurs. And I was a young guy, 19, 20-year-old, even younger when I really started to work in bar. And the people coming to visit, they were people like, people of 40, 50, 60-year-old. They were traveling the world already. And they were telling me about, their travel, their discovering, and their experiences. And that's what make my curiosity and my willingness to travel a little be more ignited that it was at the time. So it was a combination of discovering stories, discovering people and cultures, combined with studying the cocktails, of course, and the ingredients that were, the liquid that was in the bottle. Came to London 2003. And I was lucky enough to be in a place where I don't wish anyone to go, because the manager was super bad. We're all Italians, disorganized, and a little bit dodgy as well. So I learned right away, straight in my face, the way how to survive in London, and I'm very blessed for that. Then I started to work with Dre Masso. I don't know if you know him. He's one of the legends in London. He used to work in the famous Lab bar in Soho. Nowadays Swift, so it's a very special venue for all of us. And with him I started to create a little bit my network. because the beginning team of Salvador and Amanda, which is a Spanish bar restaurant still existing in Covent Garden, was made by people that were young, talented, some more, some less, and we wanted to work together because we were excited to grow and to learn. And there was at a time where brand ambassador work was just starting. So every time we had a brand ambassador coming to the bar and do us a tasting of a product and tell us what is about in the bottle and the branding, it was a massive learning curve for us. When nowadays we're looking for something different because so many things they are given for granted. But said so, we always need to be able to keep our mind open and don't give things for granted, as I just said, because sometimes in the most common aspect of everything around us can be someone in front of us as a visitor of the bar or someone representing a brand or a colleague. There is always something to discover that can ignite your curiosity and your creativity as a consequence. And then I worked in another couple of places, in Battersea and in Notting Hill. I don't know if many of you that are experienced enough to have been visiting Montgomery Place. How many? That show the age, guys. Where really I was very free to create whatever I wanted. So every day was a discovery time for me, because this little place placed in Notting Hill was it was I don't know, was like being at home. I had the freedom to go to the market constantly and pick up ingredients during the travel, put in the shaker, make it up as a cocktail, and then give it to the guest visiting the bar. They could be a regular guest or a new guest. And I was excited about it, but I discovered only after that there was something missing. There was a link missing between the creativity and the purpose of why you create something. And only after a few months that I started to work in the Connaught, that was 2008, I understood that yeah, the creative aspect is a key in what we do, because we need to create something new every time, make our own personal experience into a liquid story, which is the cocktail that we offer, we sell to the guest. But I understood at the Connaught that you know, hotel bars, they've always been in my red list, because I always heard the complaint from my Italian colleague, especially working hotel bars. There was too much structure, there was no way of having freedom for creativity. You need to have too many signatures in order to get something approved. And I thought there was a big wall in front of me in order to expand my creativity. But I realized that actually having all these barriers and these obstacles, they're helping you to make the path and the way into give a purpose to the creativity itself. So as much as we love, or I love, or I used to love, I still love actually, going around and pick up ingredients, sometimes can be even seeming to be randomly and put in a shaker. But the day after, what? Yeah, I gave it to Fabio, came to see me, I gave him an amazing cocktail inspired my Mexican trip. I came back a week ago, and then tomorrow the drink is not there anymore, it's gone. So for me the purpose of creativity is in a very almost a structured way, find a way to utilize it. So is the cocktail gonna be in the new menu, is in the seasonal menu, is in the team menu, is for a competition? It's something that you create. Maybe we need to also be able to realize that not everything is for now. So not everything that we discover, we experiment is for now, this time. Because I think I lost already the slide, so I'll freestyle a little bit. Because you know, we constantly want to come up with new ideas, with new combination, and with new everything, which is a fire that we need to keep alive. But sometimes you have an idea, combination, a technique that is not right for this specific season, menu, or place where you are. It doesn't mean that you need to forget about it. It means that you keep it, you give it a structure, you know pretty much how you want to use it, but then you put in your drawer of experiment ideas, to-do list, call it, in whichever way is more comfortable for you. That's why I think that the curiosity, the simple curiosity, is what it really igniting what is the creativity, the enthusiasm, and the passion that is part of our job. And curiosity is not only on what is in the glass, what is on the shelves, but it's also about whatever is surrounding us. And once you are curious about whatever is surrounding us, you become more, you develop yourself better as a person, and your style of being hospitable and making drinks. And when you really can make your own foundation, that's from which you can grow up. So it's very important that we work with people that we admire. It's very important that we go to visit places that we like, and we visit places as well where we have a bad experience, that we travel to bars in order to pick up ideas and see different styles and create your network, which is very, very important. But also it's important to sometimes to settle down a little bit and make a list of who you are and where you are at in this moment. Because once you know where you're standing, you realize where are your strengths, where you need to improve, and you start to realize which is your style. We want to be inspired by other people. I'm very glad when people come to the Connaught bar because they want to be inspired by us, by our style of drinks. But we don't want the people to copy us, not because we're afraid of seeing the copy and paste of the trolley or other signature aspect of the Connaught experience, but because each of us, we need to be realizing our own strength, our own potential as well. And only in this way you can really develop your style of mixology, your style of hospitality, which go parallel, but it needs to be all together. This is a little bit the points that we look after when we create a drink at the Connaught, and I guess we share in those points between all of us in this room. As I said, good combination between the technicality and let's call it theatrical aspect is very important, because not everybody is looking for the same experience when they come to the bar, and not the same person looking for the same experience if they come to the bar every day or 2-3 times a week. So we need to be able to pick up points which always make them feel comfortable, like in the church, like now with the bells. But at the same time, they feel a dash of curiosity. And maybe the same person, they want to come one day because they want to be just talking about cocktails, about spirits and travel, and the day after they had a tough meeting and they don't want to talk. So it's up to us a little bit to manage this expectation and create your own style of approaching people. That's why being 360 degrees is very much key. Research, we don't need to talk about research. It's a never-ending process that we need to structure, but we need to really let it go, because you learn every single day. And nowadays, new generation are smarter than my generation, especially with technology. And I'm not afraid to say that most time I get inspired more by my young team members than from I'm the older one, so that's it, than by people of my generation, let's put it this way. Because the attention of taking something which is already existing and transforming into something else as it is now is unbelievable. When before we were a little bit more structured and you know, play safe a little bit, if we can say so. So we're two different speeds that we need to put them together and always give to each other. Attention to details also, yeah, we always talk about attention to details, especially in hotel bars. But it's not only, you know, putting the napkins in the right way and the garnish of the cocktail at 2 o'clock, so it's in front of the guest and not right in the mouth, or having the eye contact. There are so many things all together that you shouldn't be able to realize if you want to do a list of details that make your experience memorable. But in reality, there are so many details all together that create the flow, they create a seamless feeling, they make you feel better. We are very serious, guys. Okay, what you've been drinking at these tables here? Because we need to see the reaction of spirits on mood. I was drinking non-alcoholic spirits, which was a good start because it was light, but you know, so it was fun. And then we went straight into gin, 20 gin, right, Danny? 20 gin. So, you know, I'm very lucky. But I see some of you maybe did have the right categories that you enjoy much, no? Okay, just kidding. Well, there is a little video of the Connaught bar I don't think we need to show because it will be me making the martini and you can come to see us tonight or whenever you want. We're going to simple creativity is called a little bit as a concept, but reality is how when I garnish the drink, I put in front of the guest, sometimes it's considered the end of the journey, the end of the cocktail creation, because we put in front of the guest. But reality is the beginning of another loop, because almost in the opposite way, you need to describe it, starting from the garnish, and say why you choose this detail as such, because the inspiration of the cocktail was this one, because the ingredient was this one. So it's almost the reverse process that I like to call it, that we found is very engaging with the guest, but also we need to be able to know which aspect we want to touch and which one we don't want to touch. So this simple creativity is something that it works for us, because as well allow you to go deep more into aspect that you want to explain of a process, of a drink, of an ingredient, or maybe you can explain the same complex aspect in a very simple and subtle way, in just few words, which it feels lighter. It doesn't require too much attention from the other side, from the audience, in order to, you know, enjoy more, and then maybe make them be curious and ask more about the drink and the process. Okay, we have two drinks to show this concept of simple creativity and the fact that the inspiration is all around us. I just realized 30 seconds ago that the recipe that you see on the photo is actually opposite to, so this is magnetum, which is this recipe, and this is eclipse, which is this recipe. Does it make sense? Even after 27 spirits? I hope it does. Okay, the magnetum is going back to wrapping up a little bit on the concept of how you need to be able to always find inspiration every single day, but also keep in the pocket a little bit, use it for the right, not the right moment to be explosive, to be groundbreaking, but for the right moment which genuinely this idea is not forced, no? It really makes sense. When we opened the Connaught bar, we were one of the first bars to apply a little bit not a Japanese technique, but utilizing different bar tools that we were getting from Japan. And one of these tools, it was, have you seen the ice lift? Never seen it? It looks like a metal umbrella, little umbrella, that you put upside down in the glass for the whiskey. You put the ice ball, ice chunk, or ice block, and then you put the spirit. And this umbrella works as a stirrer, so you can swirl around the drink. Also, you can lift it. And lifting this umbrella, you lift the ice, and then you let it go. You lift the ice and you let it go. So you allow the spirits to have just a little bit of dilution and the right temperature without being stirred, which will add too much water. And also it's something that rather than having a guest, and people working in hotel, they will understand, having the guest playing with the glass stirrer and break the stirrer or break the glass, and then really piss me off. Already the sound already pissed me off, but then when they break it, I want to tell them off like to kids, you know, I told you, and now you pay for it. Anyway, going back on the ice lift, it was something that I really wanted to do all the time. No, I had this idea, but I don't know what was the idea. Okay, I wanted to apply this concept, but I didn't want to copy the concept, because if I take a Japanese ice lift with umbrella-like shape, put in a cocktail, yeah, it's a nice cocktail, but with the tools from another country, from another culture, what is the link? And then when we made the menu was 2 years ago, slowly this idea took shape. Actually, the title of the menu was Shape, Forme. And we contacted an agency, and we wanted to translate this ice lift concept into the Connaught bar environment. Okay, now the Connaught bar logo is the door of the bar. I don't know if you steal the coaster of the Connaught bar, you probably did, or the menu, you probably did. The door is the logo of the bar. And the door for us is very very meaningful, because it's a little bit this place, I don't know, the door from where you go from your normal day into the Connaught bar magic, you know. And for me personally, it's the door that I passed on the 31st of June 2008, when my life changed. Because I went inside and nothing was in place. I said, what the hell is going on here? What am I gonna do? I look at Santino, the bar manager, I said, Santino, where do you take me? There was no bar, no furniture, no nothing. There was only people with a jumpsuit, like the artist, like in the church, painting the painting. And they were there placing gold and silver leaves on the wall. And as much as it crazy looked at the moment, and then I thought I was making a big mistake, I realized that the room was already full of so many magical details that are part, still nowadays, after almost 14 years, they are part of the Connaught bar experience itself. So going back to the door and the ice lift, we wanted to give the door the right glorification and create a cocktail that could be, I don't know, translate this feeling that the guests have before coming to the Connaught bar, and the feeling that the guests they have when they come into the Connaught bar, and then the blending of those two feelings. Because once you visit a bar or the Connaught bar, you become part of it and you give contribution. I love to say that a bar is made by people. It's not only us working, but also the people they visit. And as you can see, I get lost very easily, so we go back to the door. And we create the shape of this ice lift, gate, call it however you want it, that recall the design of the door itself. So as you can see, you see the ice block, and underneath the ice block there is this flat metal, okay? That is a square with the shape of the door. and there's holes inside, so the liquid go through. So simply you take, you lift the tool, and then you let it go a couple of times, and it's at the time when you see the two layers. It's not very clear in this photo, but the bottom layer is the clear one, and the top one is the dense one. So as well is the opposite how the rules of layer cocktail, because usually the dense is on the bottom and the lighter is on the top. We play as well with the opposite. So the lighter layer is on the bottom and the darker one on the top. And when you blend the two, we like always to tell the story that, you know, as I said before, the light one is the, you know, the bright spirits in the Connaught bar, and the heavier one is you walking in with after a tough day, and you become part of the Connaught bar, and you give contribution as well. Talking about recipes, so we have a milk punch made with whiskey, pineapple, spices, and Galliano herbal liqueur. Milk punch, don't need to explain it, right? So it's clarified and light and silky and flavorsome. And the top layer is based on sherry. So there are all elements which are around the whiskey. You enhance the fruitiness and the spiciness of the whiskey. You elevate this viscosity, which is an aspect of the cocktail that I think that we must always put in the boxes too thick, which is presentation, aroma, flavor and aftertaste. But especially the last two, the aroma, flavor and aftertaste, if they are not enhanced by the texture, there is the risk that the flavor is not interesting because it's flat or it's short, like we find in many spirits today. Some spirits, maybe they're interesting in the beginning, but then they're flat because there is not the right density, the right viscosity. Having the right viscosity, silky texture, allow the aromas and the flavor to stick on the palate for longer. And it's then when they develop an aftertaste. And they become more curious because they develop a flavor that perhaps they're not familiar to you. So you want to go back to the glass every time to discover more and more. So that was Magnetum. Again, talking about simple creativity, it was inspired by something which is in front of us every single day, by the door of the Connaught bar, by some aspects which are the design of the place where we spend most time of the day. Then the other example I made is based on, as I was saying before, about your network, your experience in life translated into a cocktail. And we created this cocktail that you see now is called Eclipse. It's a cocktail that was inspired by trying to be a little bit deceptive. Okay, when you create a dish or a cocktail, the appearance, as I said, is very key, is very important. Already give an expectation. Talking in very basic terms, example they always do, if you have something which is a red, pink color, maybe give you the idea to be something fruity and soft, no? But like a cosmopolitan, stay on classics. It can be look very soft, elegant, you know, sweet-like, but if it's well done, it's a sharp drink. You know, my passion is photography. And as the color of the cocktail gives you an impression, if the color is no color, cannot give you an impression. So you need to make up your own tasting experience based on your own personal experience. Like in photography, you have a color photography, you kind of guess the era when it was taken. You know, if it's recent, in the past, a century ago, no, because it was color photography yet. But if you have a black and white photography, it's very personal. You almost, the viewer of the photo make up their own idea, their own story. Unless in the photo there is iPhone or other modern technology. But if it's, let's say, neutral, yeah, really, you can space out and and blend in with your own experience. That's what we wanted to create with Eclipse. And so the idea started with chatting with George and myself, how we can create a black cocktail. You know the paint black 3.0? Do a little Google. There is 2.0 and 3.0, I think. It's a black paint that you paint black is the darkest of the darkest of the darkest of the black. So there is zero light reflection. This is not black, for example, enough. There is zero light reflection. It feels like there is a hole inside the I don't know, the paper or the wood, wherever you paint. So we start to think how we can incorporate this black color into a drinking experience. And we came up with the idea to speak with Alan Schaller, who is a very, very famous black and white photographer. He's a friend of mine. And Richard Brandon is an English crystal and china maker. Young guy based in Notting Hill area, super cool. He became, his first idea was, his first concept, it was to make, so he used to go to Portobello market, he was buying like a tea set. And what in a tea set he gets damaged most of the time is the cup, right? Usually the saucer is safe, but the cup is always chipped or something. So he restored the teacup with the coating of mirror. So in the cup you reflect the decoration of the saucer. It looks like 2-in-1. And when I met him, like, it was maybe 10 years ago, I was very curious about his thinking process. And we always kept in touch, but we never done anything. And this time I call him and say, hey, Richard, I need your help. I need your your creativity as well in order to come up with the consolidation of this crazy black and white cocktail. So this vessel that we create, when you touch it, it looks like a very thin ceramic vessel, almost like a tin. But in reality, it's glass. And how we paint it is a long story, the way how we come to how it is, but I have no time. Is painted in black first, and then in white. So the black element, it looks like inside, like if we paint the glass from inside. But painting from the inside wasn't painting the neck. So we discovered the last day this process, and that's how we make it, how he makes it. So having this black element inside, you don't see the color of the cocktail. The drink is for Negroni lover, or people that like to be approaching the Negroni lifestyle, which is nowadays, more an icon than a cocktail, thanks to the Italian again. And it's based on gin, bitter, and vermouth. The bitter and the vermouth, they are infused with the cocoa husk. It's the skin of the cocoa beans. So you don't have the bitterness and the acidity of the cocoa beans. You actually have only the aromatics of the chocolates, which stay around here. And then we have add bergamot oil as well, which helps to cut through this kind of aromatic and sweet sensation. It's a kind of another milk punch. So again, very round and soft. And so when the guests approach the drink, each of them, they have a different highlight on the flavor. Some of them, we don't describe it as a Negroni-like. We describe it as a black and white cocktail, gin, bitter, and vermouth, chocolate and bergamot aroma, kind of things. And then each of them, they pick up their own favorite aspect of the drink, and they give us the feedback, and we guide them through the whole process, as I explained it to you now. That's why I'm saying that every time we create a cocktail, we need to be able to make something that it looks delicious, even if it's simple, it tastes amazing, and is interesting as aftertaste. So it can ignite the curiosity of the visitor of the bar, and then we can explain all the technicality, and we can really engage with them and build a relationship.